Hello, my fellow Welt lovers. Oh boy, we are officially in the Constance era. After what feels like an eternity since her first cryptic trailer appearance and all those little teasers that made the fandom collectively lose its mind, the Dahlia herself is finally about to descend into Honkai Star Rail. And if you've been lurking around the community lately, you already know the hype levels are absolutely through the roof. Like, we are talking Firefly pre-release meltdown levels of excitement here. It's wild, it's chaotic, and honestly, I'm so here for it. Because Constance isn't just any new 5-star. She's potentially the most meta-shifting character we've had since Ronmei first redefined how break teams functioned. But that's getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about everything we know, everything we think we know, and why this gothic queen might just be the savior of the break archetype. Topping up in Genshin or Star Rail can get expensive, and let's be honest, we've all seen those in-game prices and wished they were just a bit lower. Well, that's exactly what LDS Shop is here for. This is LDS Shop, the official top-up platform developed by the LD Player Emulator Group. It lets you top up your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Star Rail at huge discounts, up to 23% off or more. And yeah, it's super easy to use. All you need is your server and UID, and your top-up will show up in-game within just a few minutes. It's safe, reliable, and used by thousands of players. You can even compare prices, for example, something like the Supply Pass or a 6480 Stellar Jade Bundle. It's way cheaper here than in-game. If you register using my link, you'll get a 15% off coupon and an extra 5% off coupon, which can save you up to $50 on your first top-ups. Plus, LD Shop gives you the same first top-up bonus you get in-game, so you're not missing out on anything. And if you're planning to spend more, here's a bonus. If you spend over $80, you'll unlock VIP status, which gives you a free supply pass and more perks. So if you're looking to save while still getting everything you normally would in-game, just use the link in the description and get Dan hung while saving more. So, first off, Hoyoverse officially drip-marketed Constance mere hours ago, confirming months of leaks and speculation. And she looks exactly as fans hoped she would. Elegant, mysterious, and absolutely oozing that don't mess with me, Everflame Mansion energy. Her title, the Dahlia, fits perfectly too. You know how Ronmei feels like gentle perfection and Herta feels like a mad scientist? Well, Constance looks like she could casually sip tea while the world burns behind her. That black and red aristocratic outfit, the long dark hair with bluish undertones, bro, she owns the gothic vibe. The community has been comparing her to a villain-coded Ronmei, and I don't even disagree. The aesthetic alone might convince half the player base to spend all their saved jades, but let's be real, it's her kit that's causing the most chaos right now. Because here's the deal. Every reputable leak right now points to Constance being a fire-type nihility character built specifically around the break mechanic. Yeah, you heard that right. Not debuff stacking, but pure break support. And that instantly changes everything. She's not here to replace Kafka or Black Swan. She's here to save Firefly, Boot Hill, and our beloved, long-forgotten Rappa. For context, the break meta right now is rough. Like, really rough. Firefly can still do her thing, sure, but outside of that, the archetype has basically been power crept into oblivion. Bosses have bloated toughness bars, break effects feel underwhelming, and even the best break light cones only go so far. It's been painful watching one of the most interesting combat systems in the game just kind of rot away, but Constance? She might just be the miracle fix. Now, rumor has it that her entire kit is basically Ronmei 2.0, but for break. She allegedly replaces Ronmei in optimal Firefly teams and provides a much stronger buff to break-specific stats, like break damage taken or weakness break efficiency. If that sounds familiar, that's because Ronmei currently provides 50% efficiency, but Constance might push that number up to 75% or more. That's an insane leap, and it would not only let teams break enemies faster, but also massively amplify the resulting break damage. Think of it as the difference between tickling a boss and absolutely obliterating them in one cinematic shatter explosion. And it doesn't stop there. Some early whispers suggest that Constance might even reduce the maximum toughness of enemies on the field, basically making their shields easier to crack. If true, that would instantly fix one of the biggest problems plaguing break comps right now. Imagine cutting down those absurdly inflated toughness bars in Swarm Disaster or Pure Fiction. Suddenly, your Firefly doesn't feel like she's punching a brick wall. She feels like she's actually doing something. This kind of support is exactly what break teams have needed since 2.0, and it's honestly genius that Hoyoverse is dropping her now to close out the 3.x cycle. Speaking of timing, Constance is reportedly the only new playable character in version 3.8, meaning she's going to be the headliner of the entire patch. Based on the usual update schedule, her banner will likely drop around December 16th for NA servers and December 17th for Asia, which means she'll be the last new unit before we step into the next story arc. You can already tell Hoyoverse wants her to be the finale boss of the Pentacon arc, and it totally fits. The Everflame Mansion storyline is reaching its climax, and Constance being Duke Inferno's daughter ties everything together perfectly. From a lore standpoint, this is massive. Thematically, she's like the cool-headed heir to a burning empire, and gameplay-wise, she might literally set the battlefield on fire. Both figuratively and literally, because again, leaks point to her being fire-type. And I know, some people are skeptical about her being fire because that overlaps with Firefly. But come on, this is Hoyoverse we're talking about. They love doubling up elements within archetypes to create synergy. Fire Constance supporting Firefly just makes perfect sense, especially if her buffs directly amplify break multipliers or add extra fire-based break procs. Think of her as the support who turns Firefly's engine from a sports car into a literal starship. But not everyone's sold yet. Some players are saying things like, "Why should I invest in break when the system itself feels flawed?" And honestly, fair point. The current state of break in late-game content like mock or anomaly arbitration is a bit depressing. The mechanic shines against smaller enemies, but starts to crumble when you face bosses with infinite toughness. So the million-dollar question is, can Constance actually fix a broken system? I'd argue yes, if Hoyoverse uses her release as a reason to rebalance how break works overall. And they've done this kind of thing before. Remember how Wanmei's debut made people rethink team synergy entirely? Or how Himiko suddenly became semi-relevant again after getting buffed alongside break mechanics? If Constance really is the DLC for break, as one leaker joked, then 3.8 might be the patch where everything changes. Let's also talk numbers for a sec, because even though we don't have data mine values yet, we can make some educated guesses. If her skill or ultimate increases the break damage taken debuff by, say, 30%, and her talent passively boosts weakness efficiency by another 25%, that alone would make her one of the strongest supports in the game. Add a potential toughness reduction mechanic, and suddenly she's boosting team damage and fixing structural issues at the same time. That's a Wanmei level impact, maybe even higher. And you know what's funny? A lot of players who skipped Firefly or Boot Hill might suddenly regret it, because Constance could make both of them way more viable overnight. She's practically tailor-made for Firefly. Leakers even claim she gives extra scaling to break units with fire synergy, which basically screams, Firefly main, it's your time. Rappa and Boot Hill, who've been chilling on the bench, might also find themselves back in the spotlight. Imagine pairing Boot Hill's single target burst with Constance's efficiency boosts that could melt bosses faster than any hunt unit right now. Now, in typical Hoyoverse fashion, everything I've said is still technically subject to change. This is early info, possibly from internal testing, and the final numbers or even effects might shift before launch. So, yeah, the usual disclaimer applies. Take all this with a pinch of salt, maybe even a whole shaker. But even with that in mind, I think it's safe to say Constance looks incredibly promising. If the devs balance her right, she's not just going to be a meta support, she's going to revive an entire playstyle that's been neglected for months. And bro, I can already picture the copium and the hype posts once she hits the beta. Firefly supremacy is back. Break meta is real again. Wanmei who? The community is gonna go absolutely feral, and I can't wait to see the chaos. I also wouldn't be surprised if Hoyoverse pairs her release with a new event or boss design to showcase break mechanics properly, because they love doing that synergy marketing thing. If they want us to care about break again, they're definitely going to make sure she looks broken, pun intended, in her debut fight. Oh, and side note, Can we just appreciate how every new Penacony era character has such incredible design consistency? From Sparkle's chaotic performer vibe to Aventurin's smug capitalist energy, and now Constance bringing in the gothic aristocrat aesthetic, it's such a vibe. This world's cast feels cohesive yet diverse, and I genuinely think Constance might end up being one of the most iconic designs in the game, period. Anyway, that's everything we know about Constance so far. Her lore ties, her rumored fire element, her break support role, and why she might just be the queen who drags the entire break meta out of its grave. I'm honestly praying that this isn't another Cyrene situation where everyone hypes her up and then she releases underwhelming. Because man, break deserves better. And if Constance really is as strong as the leaks say, then not only is Firefly finally getting her best friend, the whole meta might finally be balanced again. So, what do you think, my fellow Trailblazers? Are you ready to pull for the Dahlia? Do you think she's going to redefine how break works? Or will she just end up another niche support that only hardcore Firefly mains appreciate? I'm personally all in. My jades are saved, my copium tank is full, and my hopes are dangerously high. If Hoyoverse nails her kit, this could be the most exciting end-of-year patch we've ever had. Until then, I'll be here watching every beta leak like a hawk, waiting to see just how busted she really is. Love y'all, and as always, I'll see you in another one.